Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and I have some of the weirdest news to date that I'm going to be covering today. Apparently, the Friends creator apologizes for lack of diversity and donates millions to charity because there just weren't enough black people in Friends. Now, the thing with this is, it was the fucking 90s. It wasn't that diverse yet, and yeah, that was a problem that we fixed. But it's of its time, and that's not a big deal. And of the same era, there were immensely popular all-black casts and diverse shows as well. So sometimes it makes sense to be all black, sometimes it makes sense to be all white, sometimes it makes sense to be diverse. It just depends on the story and what your creative vision is for the story. The creative vision for the story had this in mind. I still think that would be totally okay today. It just depends on the situation. And, it worked very well for the show, making it one of the biggest television shows of all time. And if she had added the diversity, it would have been kind of sucky, just because these 6 people had so much chemistry together that they made the show what it is today. They're the ones who made it. If you took out one of the cast members, it would destroy the entire dynamic. So yes, you want diversity, but at the same time, you'd lose the magic that you had. So sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. And just the fact that after 20 years since the finale aired, she's like, I feel so bad. I'm not woke enough. Let me donate the monies to the black people. It just comes off as incredibly stupid and virtue signaling and retarded, honestly. I can't believe that someone thought this was a good idea. Her white guilt must be immense at this point, and I'm honestly surprised that all this is happening. But it's 2022. Woke Hollywood is gonna woke and say some dumbass shit. But we got the furthermore into this article here, Friends co-creator Marta Kaufman, who I watched the Friends reunion special from the end of last year or the year before, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun and some interesting behind the scenes stuff, and she had some interesting interviews. And I didn't immediately see something like this coming from her, but it's Hollywood. They're all pretenders. They're all fake, especially when they're recorded. Apologizes for lack of diversity on the iconic sitcom, responding by donating millions to charity. And that's just a weird perspective to take on this. Kaufman explained seeing this criticism as difficult and frustrating, and it came to a head in 2020, she stated. It was after what happened to George Floyd, of course. Something unrelated to her sitcom, unrelated to television, unrelated to Hollywood, is what she decided meant that this needed to happen. George Floyd then began to wrestle with my having brought in systemic racism in ways that I was never aware of. That was really the moment I began to examine the ways I participated. I knew that when I needed the course correct. She went on to say her recent actions have been met with welcome and added, admitting and accepting guilt is not easy. It's painful looking at yourself in the mirror. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know better 25 years ago. Oh my God, she is just virtue signaling hard. If you're not virtue signaling, you're not relevant in Hollywood these days. So overall, this is just an insane story. I didn't think I'd be covering something this weird. I love Friends. I know a lot of people don't these days, and it's a weird show. They do a lot of weird stuff, and with that laugh track, they all come off as psychopaths. But I love this show. And so for her to say, you know what, I had a very successful life. I made one of the greatest television shows of all time, but I need to feel bad for it because I'm white and I made a white show. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, and it was the fucking 90s. It was of its time. And that's something that I don't think anyone should ever be judged of for being of their time, today or anciently, within reason, of course, because in, 100 years, someone's going to judge us from being of our time, because you never know how morality or our understanding of the universe is going to change. Something will make us morally reprehensible in 100 years' time. So it's best that we show empathy and forgiveness to those of the past for things they just didn't know. So she should extend that same hand of forgiveness to herself, because she didn't know better, A, and B, she made something incredible, and it was of its time. There's nothing wrong with Friends. There's nothing wrong that it's all white. It just depends on the creative endeavor. And for this creative endeavor with this incredible cast, it made sense and it worked very well. So, just Hollywood's gonna virtue signal. I just had to shout this out because I thought it was one of the craziest headlines I'd seen in a long time. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.